Hello, this is Traz, and I'm on a map called Nail. And it's by Rixiot of the Whiskey Brigade. And he's going to show us around a little. So, yeah, take it away.
Well, first of all, how's it going? My name's Rixiot. I have perfect eyebrows, you may know me by that. And this is my first map and attempt at a more competitive defense genre themed map. For those of you who do not know, one of the key selling points of this map is the start gate and the fact that the defenders have about a 1-minute lead, roughly, on the invaders. There's also an integrated timer in here. Each match, at the most, will last 20 minutes. So I guess we'll start by going over the start phase itself, and we'll continue from there. Once the start button is hit, a piece of wool is dispensed into that timer there, and the defenders, the blue trough, will drop down and they'll begin their epic journey.
I'll drop down.
Yeah, they drop down into here. And they've got meager amount of supplies to get started with. But they have plenty of choices to make in this minute. They won't be able to make all of them, as they do have a very, very limited amount of time before those invaders come out and just start wrecking people. First thing they can do is they can disable these lamps here, which facilitates mob spawning a bit more. And it allows the defenders to get a little bit extra time while the invaders, deal with those mobs. There's also a little cordon section of the forest in there that's got a nice supply of TNT. And this bridge here is pretty vital to getting across this river. It's a fairly large river, and it tends to suck up mobs. You can see a creeper is stuck right in there, and when it gets to be nighttime, this river gets really nasty.
Just pack them in.
Yeah, it's a nasty river. But further on through the forest, across the bridge, there's the second, well, I guess, yeah, it's the last little checkpoint in the forest. It's a little tiny cave underneath this, what I meant to be a fallen tree. It's really difficult to get into, and it's fairly light on the mob activity, but regardless, there's a nice amount of supplies down here.
And a zombie.
And a zombie. He's usually here. Once the forest kind of opens up, you get to see a lot more of the choices and how they branch out. The defenders need to worry about a food source. The invaders get their own little lunch boxes, and the defenders do not. So one of the most important things the defenders can do is, gather up some of this food. There's a nice watermelon farm here, and a little picnic basket over here. Also, there's a bit of farming supplies in the Gatehouse here, which has a nice little assortment of goodies, a couple pieces of weaponry, some gold nuggets
Check out this one.
for the greedy. And it's also a nice little structure to take cover from arrow fire, and it's got a self-destruct panel. You can detonate that little fixture, or would it be called an emplacement? Detonate that little emplacement, and remove that structure from. Oh!
Should we?
Do it.
Alright. Actually, I haven't seen.
It's not a grand explosion, but that's a nice hole.
Yeah. It's a nice valley in between you and them.
Definitely problematic to approach. Then there is this mine here, which has, as you might imagine, well, you might not imagine this, it's got a really odd, assortment of supplies. Namely TNT, bows, there's some there's some food in here, as well as clocks. Do what you will with those, but it's also got jungle saplings, which no one's done this yet, so I might as well reveal it. Siege trees. You plant one of them big trees right by that castle wall, and you just climb right up and hop over.
Yeah.
I'm hoping
There's
someone
bone
tells
meal
that.
around. That'll be.
There's bones in there.
That'd be sweet to see a tree pop up in the middle of a match.
I'm hoping.
The size of a jungle tree, too.
But where the choices really start heating up is around this area. Obviously you've got the castle, which you're meant to defend. And one of the most important things to do is decide whether you're going to detonate this bridge or keep it up. And it's got its upsides and its downsides, as you can imagine. But there's also a couple little structures here to kind of facilitate the invaders getting in. We have some sewer grates here, really nasty, dirty places. Just climb right up with whatever method you see fit, and you're right here on this first terrace. There's also some vines here if you prefer that route, but chances are those will be gone when you get here if you're facing a well-practiced team. And that leads us to the castle. First gate here is probably the most intense gate to get through. No one's done it yet. There are more attractive methods of getting through these walls. As you might have seen, the lava source blocks just over your head coming through. In this gatehouse there are 6 seals. Each seal holds up one source block of lava. And once a seal is broken, it pours that lava nice and evenly into the gate. And quite effectively prevents the invaders' progress through the gate. That in turn brings us over here to the second gate. The second gate here is probably the weakest gate. It's just a little corridor that pretty much is closed by blocking it off, or whatever method you see fit. There are plenty of options to choose from. And there is also the second gatehouse just down here, complete with a couple of self-destruct buttons here, detonating the stairway and leaving a nice crater in the wall. Well, not in the wall, but in the ground right up there. And then the third gate here is probably the weakest gate. That stands to reason. You've got the ladders that you just came up, which can be removed in order to increase the gate's effectiveness. And then these levers can be pulled, releasing a nice flow of lava down that little chute that you just came up.
Lovely.
Beautiful. However, the weakness of that gate is the windows that were just out there. An invader can pop those and block that lava flow right up. But that's yet to be performed, sadly.
They'll see it.
So then from here we can go over the yards a bit more. The first courtyard is home to the armory, which houses the sacred relics, very sacred, and the first tier defender gear, the worker gear, very demeaning title.
Axe and pick.
But it is nice because those are the only picks provided to the players, and they are quite defender specific.
Yep, and you did leave one painting in.
I guess I did. I didn't notice that.
I think it fits.
Across the way here we have the alchemy lab, which I have yet to see splash potions really utilized in a PvP environment, and I think that this map lends a perfect opportunity for those to be utilized.
Be interesting. I haven't even thought to try them yet.
That's what I mean. I haven't either. I just always overlook them.
Yeah.
But there is pretty much any supplies that you would need for making potions, and your stands are already preloaded with awkward pots. Very nice. The basis for many, many, if not every, important potion there is.
Yeah.
And I say important. Keyword on important.
All sorts of various supplies at each of the different tiers in between, I guess.
Yes, they were strategically placed and separated. And if you are defending, you'll quickly realize that sometimes your supplies need to be adjusted. And that is just one more of the choices you get to make with your very precious limited setup time. On top of the first wall here, we have the very symbolic music player. Play your favorite tunes while you destroy your enemies.
Every map needs one of these.
And with most of the walls comes a build-your-own cannon supply kit. The first and third wall have build-your-own cannon kits, and they can be used as counter cannons or just to decimate the landscape surrounding the castle. So now, onto the elephant gun, a personal favorite of mine. I engineered this inefficient little beauty here to shoot a very erratic spread into the canopy and the tree line in general. It's not all that practical. It's difficult, if not impossible, to aim. But if anything, it is flashy, and that's why I keep it here. At the very least, it'll scare anyone climbing in, those trees.
Yeah. They do come running down that path in the beginning of the game.
Yeah, you can
sometimes,
land some
and
shots
you
on
can,
them.
if you get the cannon off right when the invaders are coming right out, you might get a shot off. Makes a
You know-
nice gaping hole in the forest.
I have been hit by it a couple times now that I think about it.
Yeah.
Then here in the second courtyard, you have the arrow supply. More than enough to last 20 minutes. In fact, far too many, but I like that just extravagant supply of arrows. It's very pretty to me. And the second tier defender gear right here. A lot of rhymes to be found.
Second gear defender gear.
Right here. Then a couple of flame bows down here with a large supply of regular ass bows. And that's pretty much it for the second courtyard, but arrows, as you imagine, are quite important. And then the most important courtyard is just over the third wall. We have the tower that houses the objective. 2 sponge blocks up there. You can't really see them until I do this. That is the goal right there. 2 sponge blocks. That's why we do this. There's also the...
That means you killed the king, I guess.
or significant or something.
Yes.
This little bunker here is the re-entry point for any defenders who have died and are making their way back to the keep. They come right back through there and, fairly quickly from that point can re-enter the battle.
They spawn back at the beginning and come along this tube and up the ladder.
Anyways, then there is a little supply chest full of niceties. A couple of source blocks of water and lava. I had to remove buckets as they allowed a very nasty exploit. And then for all you sci-fi nerds, there is the shield generator. Which effectively... well...
makes it annoying to get in there.
yeah. Shields your sponge from cannon fire. Makes it a little bit of a hassle to get in the tower. And I say a little bit, it is a very little bit of an inconvenience. One of the key selling points of this map is the integrated mechanisms for the start phase and timing of the match itself. Everything here is meant to be so that, this match can be run completely through vanilla Minecraft. And up here we have the button that starts the whole domino effect. Once this button is pressed, it not only opens the defender gate, allowing them to start, it also drops a piece of wool into this initial timer here. And we can speed this process along a little bit, but once that completes, it drops the invaders, keeping their trench open, and it also, well, these were gated before, but it opens the war camps, which is an area exclusive to the invaders. And that's where their supplies are housed, and that area is off limits to destruction. But what also happens, in addition to the invader gate being opened, is a signal is transferred all the way through the map, far out of the memory of the invading team, but by the time the, signal is transmitted, the defenders are already down here, and it begins a very intricate work of ingenuity. It's crazy. I pulled it off. I'm pretty much Einstein or something. The signal will come down here, and it'll activate a 20-minute timer, which is a key point in victory for the defenders. If they can hold their sponge out for that 20 minutes and keep it safe, they, after the 20-minute timer has run out, they will at that point have won the game. However, if the invaders manage to destroy the sponge before the 20-minute timer runs out, that would give them a victory. Once either condition has been met, victory fanfare, for all you Final Fantasy fans, will play throughout the castle. That indicator will let the refs or any of the members playing know that this can be referenced to see for sure who has indeed won. Another one of the key selling points of this map are the walls, which were built to withstand but not be impervious to cannon fire. It repeats a very specific pattern of a stone-type block, gravel, and below this is some cobweb. And then it repeats the gravel, stone, gravel, cobweb, and it goes from there. And I found this design to be really effective at just kind of shielding from TNT. But as you imagine, it is still very much destructible. It is also a hassle to dig.
Yeah, gravel coming down.
Of course, there are bypasses as well, and if someone knows about that, then that is to their advantage.
So the timer is ticking down. We're at 15 minutes in, or 5 minutes in, I guess.
5 minutes
15 minutes
in.
left.
Yep, at least 5 minutes have passed, but not 10. This is key to running a match or two on this game without needing a moderator to be watching the whole time and timing it itself. It is a very rough indicator, but it's something. And it's definitely nice to have and not need that other person to referee, moderate, and just keep time. This is viewable from a large section of the map, and whenever needed, I guess one can just take a glance up and just kind of get a feel for how much time has passed, how much of a rush they need to be in, or if they need to be in a rush at all. Well, this has been Rixiot, and courtesy of Traz, I'm allowed to give you this little highlight of my map.
Hello.
For anyone who has played it already, I hope that I can keep you entertained and balance it as much as possible. And for those of you who haven't, there's links on the Minecraft forum to download it, as well as on the MC Tourney Reddit. On that note, let's fire the elephant gun.
Fire.
Oh damn, that got some distance.
Yeah, it took out a good chunk of the trees, too.
Oh, I see him. I see Phil Walker.
Oh, TNT. Oh, God, he's loading it up with... No!
They're in the first wall. They're in the first wall at least.
Okay. I am not dead.
Rixiot.
Is that
Come and get Rixiot. Come and get Rixiot.
Oh, right.
Guys, get
I
Rixiot.
don't even have a sword. I have a sign. I'm gonna hit him with this sign.
I got him.